Hey Cardi, what's up? Hey, when's the baby due, Cardi? You choose any names yet? Hey, did Jay-Z ask to touch your baby bump, Cardi?
Hi, babe.
Look lovely, Cardi.
Thanks, Cardi. You look great.
God bless.
Congratulations, guys. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
What do you think about Kanye saying he loves President Trump?
Yeah, big dog panic.
The digital world has just reached a fever pitch, and social media is feeling the shockwaves. It was more than simply a party. It was an elite get-together, the kind of occasion where every movement is photographed and every utterance is turned into a news story. However, no one anticipated the recently discovered clip. According to reports, Offset, a man who is well known for his uncensored presence and guarded demeanor, uploaded a video that is presently spreading like wildfire on the internet. That particular clip, a physical encounter between Cardi B, the Queen of the Bronx, and the great J-Z. The camera captures what Offset is referring to as a line crossed in the grainy, exuberant setting of a private industry party. We witness Jay-Z, who is typically associated with calm composure, extending his hand and placing a hand on Cardi's hips. For Offset, the brief gesture, which some may consider a cordial greeting, was an obvious sign of disdain. Even through the screen of a smartphone, you can feel the tension in the air. The conversation quickly changed from who was wearing what to who was touching whom. Offset didn't simply post this and go on. By clearly calling the exchange a breach of code, he fanned the flames. The hierarchy of power, the unwritten norms of the rap business, and the integrity of a relationship under continual scrutiny are all at stake here. It's not just about a hand on a hip. The concerns are growing as the video plays on millions of devices. Was this a power maneuver by a mogul who believes he is untouchable? Or was it an innocent gesture misinterpreted by a jealous husband? As the drama develops, the industry is holding its breath, preparing for a clash that may reshape relationships in the music industry. Until the clock hit midnight, the digital world was rather peaceful. Then, suddenly, the mood changed. The hush was broken by a grainy, high-definition clip that felt like a lightning strike striking the heart of the hip-hop world. Not a promotional teaser or a sample of a new song. Offset, a man who has always shown his affection and protective nature, posted a statement instead of only a video. The video depicts a packed, boisterous VIP area at a private industry gathering. The sort of setting where the air is heavy with the weight of enormous egos and the aroma of pricey cologne. Cardi B is in the middle of the picture, exuding her trademark charm. But the attention soon moves when a legendary person enters the Bronx superstar's personal space. The billionaire, Jay-Z, is shown reaching out after decades of fostering an image of untouchable sophistication. A husband observing from the sidelines saw his hand making touch with Cardi's hip as a sign of disrespect, even though it might have been interpreted as a greeting in any other situation. One must comprehend the unspoken code that regulates these elite groups in order to comprehend why this particular time has caused such a significant breach. Physical limits are frequently the only thing separating a business engagement from a personal insult. In the world of elite entertainment, Offset's use of the word disrespectful was not a word choice made at random. It was a deliberate attack on authority. Peer mates are off limits, both romantically and in terms of physical intimacy. According to a long-standing, unspoken understanding, Offset essentially tore away the veneer of industry etiquette by making this video public. He was more concerned with the purity of his marriage and the message that such a public touch conveys to the rest of the world than he was with the man's status in the video. Fans were analyzing every frame of the video as it swiftly started to replay on all major platforms to determine whether Cardi's response reflected her husband's indignation, or if she was just caught up in the pandemonium of a noisy, dark environment. The club's flickering lighting creates long shadows on the spectators' faces as the video goes on. The change in energy is visible. There's no denying the closeness when Jay-Z leans in. Offset must have felt a secondary betrayal when he saw this. Back on tape, since it is more than just a tap, it is a lasting moment that goes against the conventional handshake or industry hug. The act itself was the first betrayal, followed by the knowledge that it took place in front of a large crowd of people who might have assumed he was too scared of Jay-Z's influence to speak up. Offset, however, has never been one to follow the guidelines of tactful diplomacy. His background stems from a society where your only real assets are your word and your respect. He perceived a challenge to his role as a partner and a man when he spotted that hand on Cardi's hip. He observed a mogul who was at ease enough to go too far, possibly believing that his notoriety served as a buffer against criticism. The consequences were immediate. Minutes after the leak, the hip touch was the most talked about issue in the world. Others who supported Offset's right to establish boundaries, and others who defended Jay-Z's friendly demeanor turned comment sections into battlefields. The leak's detractors contend that hands frequently wind up in unexpected areas, and that individuals are always bumping into each other in a packed VIP area. As a logical justification for the closeness, they cite the loud music and the necessity of leaning in to hear a discussion. But the counterargument, which Offset appears to be supporting, is that a man with Jay-Z's level of experience always knows exactly where his hands are. A gesture like this feels more like a statement of dominance than an accident in a society where every action is planned for public image and brand safety. The history between the parties is what makes this even more volatile. Cardi B has always had a great deal of regard for the trailblazers who came before her, and she frequently mentions how the ROC Nation era shaped her own professional path. It is dangerous for her to be caught in the center of this conflict between her husband's pride and a mogul's carelessness. Some have said that she didn't find the contact inappropriate at the time because of the way she appears to be conversing in the video and her lively, fluid body language. However, as numerous people have noted, the realization of what transpired during a brief encounter at a party frequently doesn't sink in until the video is examined in the daylight. Offset's choice to release the video implies that the disrespect was evident after it was reviewed. The imagined entitlement that made it possible for the touch to occur in the first place was more important than the touch itself. Shocked stillness has given way to panicked chatter in the sector. This is breaking the gentleman's agreement of the rap elite, which is why other musicians are paying close attention. These kinds of complaints are typically handled by management, or sometimes by a heated phone conversation between close friends and family. The gatekeepers have been circumvented by Offset by making it public. The public is now the jury, thanks to him. This move reflects a change in the way the younger generation of stars perceives the old guard. Deference is no longer required if it means sacrificing one's own honor. Even a billionaire finds it difficult to avoid a reaction when the word disrespectful is used. The video's shaky pictures show the blur of pricey textiles and the flash of jewelry, but the major attention is still on that single point of touch. It symbolizes the meeting point of two distinct hip-hop eras. On one side is the calculating, business-oriented tycoon who is accustomed to commanding attention wherever he goes. A furious, protective spouse, on the other hand, will not allow his family's honor to be a footnote in someone else's highlight reel. The limitations of celebrity are the source of the tension, not just a party. Offset's message to all cameras, fans and peers is that permission is not granted based on status. The silence that follows the video's conclusion and the screen's darkening is much more intense than the underlying dance music. The disrespect has been identified, the boundaries have been established, and the video has been released. The world now awaits the mogul's response to the leak, or whether his camp's silence will be taken as an admission of overreach. One could only characterize the digital environment that was created in the immediate wake of the disclosure as a standoff. In the hours after Offset publicly accused him of disrespect, the accusation was nearly as loud as the quiet. On the opposite side, usually, there is a quick PR cleanup or a humorous diversion when a viral moment involving a titan of the business, like Jay-Z, appears online. However, the air felt different this time. In the hip-hop industry, the phrase disrespectful carries a certain weight. It is a term that requires an answer. Yet for the mogul in question, answering could entail admitting to an act that he views as beneath his rank. A hand on a hip became a symbol of a far greater power struggle as a result of the void this silence left, which was swiftly filled by every industry, insider, blogger, and fan with a hypothesis. Analysts started examining the larger context of the interaction between these two powerful entities as the video kept making the rounds. The story at the time was one of appreciation and passing the mantle, as Cardi B had been outspoken about her admiration for the seasoned rapper just months earlier, even obtaining a rare sample clearance for her song Imaginary Players. Cardi's position among the greats appeared to be cemented during that moment of solidarity. That narrative has been entirely altered, though, by the release of this party video. It implies that there was a smoldering conflict about boundaries behind the popular acclaim and professional approvals. By making this complaint public, Offset is expressing his opinion that a song's stamp of approval does not grant him permission to be too familiar with someone in person. A corporate collaboration is abruptly eclipsed by a perceived social snub in this classic example of the professional and personal worlds colliding. Additionally, attention turned to the responses of other artists in the neighborhood. A move like this encourages people to take sides in a society where alliances are crucial. Do they support the strong mogul who holds the keys to the kingdom, or do they side with the protective husband who is defending his wife's honor? Many saw that several well-known people who often respond quickly to drama that goes viral were unusually silent. This silence says a lot about Jay-Z's continued impact. To criticize him is to jeopardize a bridge that many have worked for decades to construct. The newer generation of fans, however, views Offset's audacity as a welcome change or refusal to be intimidated by the old guard's untouchable position. Young people are developing a new form of loyalty as a result of seeing a man who is prepared to jeopardize his reputation in the industry in order to defend his family. The dialogue has certainly altered in the clubs and private lounges where these events are held. Everyone in the VIP area should take note of this leak. It serves as a reminder that the rules of engagement are constantly changing and that cameras are always rolling. A culture of total accountability is replacing the days when anything goes in a party's shadowy corners. Every encounter will now be examined with a level of suspicion we haven't seen before. If a hand on a hip can spark a worldwide scandal and a possible rivalry between two of the biggest stars in music, this is about a change in the social contract of celebrity, not simply about one video. It's interesting to note that the conversation also touched on Offset and Cardi B's own difficult past. They have frequently been the target of public scrutiny, with accusations and rumors threatening to destroy them. Offset's leak can be interpreted in this light as a defensive move meant to regain control of the story. He is strengthening the us against the world mentality that has frequently been the glue of their relationship, by blaming another man's conduct and pointing the blame outward. As the days go by and the video is still being analyzed, some people are wondering if this public uproar will backfire and cause a split that cannot be healed with a simple phone call or apology. It's a show of strength that says, I am the one who sets the boundaries here. The ROC Nation camp has purposefully kept quiet. According to the high-level reputation management playbook, reacting to an emotional outburst can frequently give it more force than it merits. They're trying to convey that the occurrence is not a problem by being silent, which is a misconception from someone who is trying to find a problem where none exists. However, the longer the silence persists, the more the term disrespectful becomes ingrained in the public mind. People are beginning to wonder, why not just declare it an accident if it was one? Why not make clear the intention if it was a kind gesture? Some consider the absence of contact as an indication that they have been caught, while others view it as a respectful rejection of low-level drama. The issue of intent versus impact has emerged as the main focus as the industry observes this impasse. Does the effect that touching has on the person seeing it matter more than the intention of the one performing it? The answer was frequently determined by the person with the most power in the old school of hip-hop. However, the impact on the audience and the partner is becoming more and more important in the present world, when social media serves as the great equalizer. By putting the audience in the position of judge, Offset has effectively changed the balance of power. The verdict is still pending after he transformed a private party moment into a public character trial. Even the financial aspect of the company is being affected. Future partnerships, brand agreements, and festivals are all dependent on these celebrities' reputations. Companies may be reluctant to hire both performers for the same events if the dispute lasts a long time, creating a fractured scene where the Atlanta powerhouse and New York Legends groups are kept apart. This is a potential logistical problem for the entire industry, not just the publicists. As the dust settles, it's evident that the hip touch has become a line in the sand and that the music industry has undergone a lasting transformation. Now, attention is focused on either party's next public presentation. Are they going to be spotted together? Is a unity photo opportunity planned? Or has the bridge burnt so completely that it cannot be saved? As the world waits for the first individual to speak, the drama is progressing toward an eventual clash. The internet became a worldwide forensic laboratory after the first shock of the breach subsided. In the age of the digital detective, every frame of a viral video is slowed down and zoomed in on in an attempt to uncover a secret. Not only was the Jay-Z and Cardi B video being viewed, but it was also being questioned. Frame-by-frame examinations of the precise time of touch were conducted by thousands of social media users. They examined the wrist angle, the length of the touch, and even the subtle facial expressions of those in the background. For all parties concerned, this degree of attention produces a psychological pressure cooker. Offset has mixed feelings about his personal complaints being converted into a public science project. It supports his assertion that something happened, but it also gives the world permission to make fun of or doubt his personal limits and his stability as a husband. It's impossible to overestimate the psychological toll on a well-known couple like Offset and Cardi B. Even one misstep at a gathering turns into a referendum on their marriage because they are living in a fishbowl. Offset noted that the perceived loss of control is what constitutes disrespect rather than merely the physical act. Being sonned or having your lover treated too familiarly by a senior sportsio person is viewed as a direct blow to your status in the hypermasculine world of hip-hop. Offset tried to change the course of events by disclosing the video, but in doing so, he allowed millions of strangers to comment on his insecurity. In an effort to expose the absurdity of his outrage, critics started sharing past videos of Offset in similar situations. Why is this particular touch the tipping point? They questioned. Are we overlooking a deeper history of conflict between the ROC Nation founder and the Migos star? Cardi's large and devoted fan group, known as the Barty Gang, was in a challenging situation at the same time. They passionately defend her independence. Cardi B is a mature woman who can manage herself, according to many, and Offset's public protest portrays her as someone who needs saving rather than as a successful businesswoman. In her own right, another level of intricacy is introduced by this internal fandom argument. It's now a discussion about agency rather than merely a rivalry between two men. Was Cardi offended at the time? Or did she only realize how disrespectful it was when her husband brought it up? She can be seen smiling in the video, but as other social media psychologists have pointed out, the social smile is a typical coping strategy in stressful situations. Even though it makes you uncomfortable, you smile to maintain harmony, to keep the party going, and to prevent a scene. The story was still plagued by the other side's silence. The public started examining the famed rapper's previous interactions, as he had not released a statement. Some noted that in the industry's elite circles, a certain amount of physical contact is considered normal: a hand on the shoulder, a kiss on the cheek, or a hand on the waist for a picture. They compared this video to his treatment of other female artists, searching for a pattern of mentor-like behavior versus overstepping. Offset, however, contends that this was not a picture opportunity. The mask of the mogul came off in an unscripted, honest moment. The term disrespect endured because it capitalized on the widespread perception that the old guard frequently feels entitled to the new stars. Additionally, the digital investigator started following the video's motion. From where did it originate? Who filmed it? If Offset leaked it, was it one of his personal guards? Was it an unhappy part? The footage's source is significant, since it illustrates the extent of the surveillance these celebrities are subjected to. Privacy does not exist, not even in a private VIP zone. Anyone with a smartphone has the potential to be a whistleblower. The industry has been shaken by this realization. Nobody is safe if someone as strong and well protected as a Hav can be exposed in public by a peer after being captured in a compromising image. The smartphone era is causing the code of silence that formerly protected the elite to crumble. Some commended Offset for defending his wife, arguing that respect must be earned and that boundaries must be upheld regardless of the other person's wealth. As the days went by, the discussion turned to the idea of toxic masculinity as opposed to protection. Others viewed it as a desperate attempt by an artist to remain relevant by tying himself to a scandal involving a more well-known figure. With Team Offset and Team J jerseys essentially printed in the digital realm, this psychological battle is being fought in real time in the comment sections. Fans are keeping a close eye on Offset's social media accounts for any additional indications of an outburst, as the stress of this can cause unpredictable behavior. Additionally, there is the Hav factor to take into account. He has a reputation for being long-term orientated. He makes moves in the boardroom, not on Instagram, where he trades insults. Industry insiders worry that Offset's call-out in public could lead to a quiet blackballing. Making an enemy of the God MC is a dangerous tactic in a field where one man controls a lot of power, from touring contracts to streaming platforms. Offset, meanwhile, might believe he has nothing to lose. Maybe the disrespect was so obvious that his inner peace came before the damage to his job. The situation is so unstable because of this nothing-to-lose mentality. A man who has everything to defend and a man who is prepared to destroy everything for the sake of his reputation are at odds. At this moment, the information flow is saturated. We've seen the slow-motion video, listened to all of the big youth commentary, and read the mysterious tweets. However, a resolution is the one thing we have yet to witness. A quarrel that remains unsolved has a significant psychological cost. It permeates every red carpet and every award show. There will be enough tension between these three individuals to sever with a knife if they are in the same room again. World is waiting for the peace summit, but a calm conclusion appears more distant than ever because Offset is stepping up his disrespectful narrative. A 15-second clip has taken control of their life, and millions of individuals are writing the next story by pressing the replay button. This is the last section of the script, which focuses on the final confrontation within the industry's power structures, the wider societal repercussions, and the ultimate lesson learned from this explosive moment. We are seeing a last reckoning for the way power is used in the contemporary entertainment industry as the news cycle surrounding the leaked footage reaches its peak. This is not just a celebrity quarrel. The dispute between Offset and the group that represents the most well-known businessman in the industry has progressed from the hip touch to a discussion about how respect has changed over time. The music industry's hierarchy was harsh and brutal for many years. Those at the top were seen as above reproach, and their activities were justified by their enormous cultural achievements and even larger financial holdings. However, it's evident that the shield is eroding as the video of Jay-Z and Cardi B keeps playing. Offset's steadfastness in the face of overwhelming commercial pressure signals a sea change in the way that individual honor is valued above business or artistic ties. This saga's final confrontation has been a chilly, strategic struggle for position rather than a physical altercation or public yelling match. There have been phone conversations, according to reports from inside the inner circles, to assess the damage rather than to apologize. The old guard, on the one hand, see Offset's leak as an affront to the elite's private haven. They contend that taking a small physical altercation into the public eye is a rookie move that jeopardizes the comfort of everyone at that level, and that what happens in the VIP stays in the VIP. The new guard and a sizable portion of the populace, on the other hand, think that the days of looking the other way are past. They view Offset as a man who is merely upholding a code of conduct that ought to have existed from the beginning. The modern need for complete transparency and the culture of secrecy are at odds. Perhaps the most complex aspect of the repercussions is Cardi B's future in this environment. She is at a crossroads as a woman who has made it to the billionaire brand status by successfully navigating the male-dominated hip-hop industry. Does she support the man who thought she was treated disrespectfully, or does she align herself with the entrenched power structure that may further cement her legacy? Although the video captures her in a moment of social grace, the fallout has compelled her to navigate politics. According to sources, she has been striving to resolve the conflict behind the scenes in an effort to save her marriage and her commercial relationships with the ROC Nation conglomerate. At the top of the game, when every social connection is a potential landmine, women face distinct pressures that are highlighted by this high-stakes balancing act. These high-profile parties, future operations will probably be altered by the memory of this leak. Private event no-phone regulations are already becoming more common. Attendees must lock their phones in magnetic pouches before they can enter the inner sanctuary. The next leak is a real concern. The sense of security that formerly characterized these events is gone. If a mogul of such legendary renown can have his reputation called into question by a 15-second clip, the flow of celebrity culture is altering as a result of this move. Towards complete surveillance, people are becoming less inclined to interact casually, which used to be the industry's social engine, and more performative and cautious. Offset's emphasis on disrespect has effectively served as a death button for traditional partying. The long-term effects are beginning to become clear when considering the men's careers. This is a unique instance of vulnerability for Jay-Z in his otherwise impeccable 10-year public record. Although his loyal supporters are unlikely to be swayed, the gentleman mogul story has suffered among younger people who place a higher priority on consent and boundaries. This action has strengthened Offset's reputation as a renegade who doesn't hesitate to challenge authority. In the near term, he could receive fewer invitations to some prestigious boardrooms, but his reputation as an unvarnished, protective, and genuine artist has never been stronger. He has capitalized on a cultural trend that prioritizes the real over the refined. And in the media landscape of 2026, resonance is a potent commodity. That as this drama comes to a close, the most important lesson is one of responsibility. Status no longer serves as an Olax's pass to cross borders in the world we live in. The fact that it was publicly called out alters the equation for everyone, regardless of whether it was a nice gesture gone wrong, a misunderstanding, or a purposeful display of power. Though the internet rarely forgets a moment when the untouchable was touched by controversy. The major camp's silence indicates that they are waiting for the public to move on to the next issue, as a constant reminder that every hand has a witness in the era of the lens. The video is still included in the digital archive. A peace photo or a well-crafted press statement may mark the end of this particular events chapter. But the underlying tension still exists. It's still not clear how the code of the boardroom and the code of the streets have clashed. Offset's choice to call the exchange disrespectful has raised the standard for how artists will communicate with each other's partners and families. It has served as a reminder to the industry that these are human people with real emotions and boundaries behind the jewelry, hits, and billions. A fresh consciousness permeates the atmosphere as the festivities and music continue. Not only was the hip touch heard round the world a moment that went viral, but it also marked a boundary that people would remember long after the video stopped trending. The plot of this narrative serves as a reminder that respect is the most brittle asset in the world of celebrity. It only takes a second to lose, but it takes a lifetime to build. especially if that second is captured on camera. The industry is cautiously anticipating the next major event as we close the book on this leak. The world is paying more attention than ever before. The rules have changed and the stakes have increased. The model for a new type of celebrity conflict, one in which the consequences are measured in more than just likes and shares, and the truth is, subjective, has been set by Offset, Cardi B, and the entrepreneur at the center of it all. The business is still in shock at the consequences of this leaked footage. Thus, this problem is far from over. I want to hear from you now, though. Do you believe that Offset was correct to publicly criticize this exchange and stand up for his limits? Or do you believe that Offset and the internet are overreacting to a moment that was captured in the midst of a packed party? Regardless of your level of power or status in the game, is there a code that should never be broken? Or has the internet age blown this huge mistake out of proportion? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. I'll be stepping in to see what you guys think of this standoff between the old guard and the new guard. Click like if you believe that respect should come first. Respect should come first. Make sure to hit subscribe and enable post notifications if you want to be informed of every development in this article. When these two camps eventually confront each other, you won't want to miss what happens next. We appreciate your time and hope to see you at the next one.